Sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, actually, are we on? Okay. So it is 6:30 and today is April 2nd, 2026. And we want to welcome you guys to the Mableton Planning Commission hearing this evening. First and foremost, again, we thank you guys for coming out. We respect your time, but most importantly, we appreciate you guys' participation in the process. We encourage you guys' participation in the process because these meetings, these hearings, these decisions, they're not made in a vacuum. We always encourage the community to come out and make sure that your voice is heard because it is yours, ours, it's yours, mine, and all of ours community that we live in. It's our decision to make. So with that being said, we are going to go to our roll call. When you hear your name, please say here, present, or what have you to acknowledge your presence here. So we will start with Commissioner Cheryl Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Kim Blunt, she is not here. She's absent but accounted for. Commissioner Robin Meyer.
Present.
Commissioner Gerard Jeter.
Present.
I am Commissioner Dante Philpott, and I am here. Commissioner Carl Valenzano.
Present.
And Commissioner Munzir Nakwi.
Present.
All right, so we do have a quorum for this evening. So we will move right ahead. We will move right ahead to item number 3 on the agenda, which is the approval of minutes. I know, and this is to the commission. I know we've had some edits that were sent back. I don't recall seeing a final edit, so we may want to make a motion to delay or defer to the next meeting before we approve the minutes.
I think that would be a good idea. I'd be happy to move that we postpone adoption of the minutes until our next meeting.
Okay, we have a motion to postpone the adoption of the prior meeting's minutes to the next meeting by Commissioner Robin Meyer. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a second from Commissioner Valenzano. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it. So Mr. Wheeler, hopefully we'll have the final edit for the March meeting minutes for, perfect, okay, thank you. So we will move to item 4A. Item 4A, which is organizational and procedural items or the adoption of the Mableton Planning Commission policy and procedures. Again, I know that there's been some back and forth on the policies and procedures. There's been edits that have gone back and forth between the Planning Commission and staff, and I think there was a thought and the idea to make sure that those policies and procedures were posted for the public to read over, because we don't want anyone to feel like these policies and procedures are being adopted and approved in the dark, and you don't have any idea of what we're doing or what's going on or what we're approving. So I will, again, this is for the entire PC. We may want to defer that as well until the policy and procedures, the final copy and the final edit has been published for the community to view. I don't know if you guys have any additional thoughts or feelings on that, but I will open it up to you guys.
I think that would be a great idea. Excuse me. I think that would be a great idea. We received the rewrite of a couple of paragraphs just late this afternoon. So I think it'd be great to see it all in one document and posted.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, with that, then what we will do is let's entertain a motion to, and I want to make sure I say this right, let's entertain a motion to defer the adoption of the Mableton Planning Commission policy and procedures until the next meeting, the May meeting. And at that point, we would have had time, or staff would have had time to post the policy and procedures for the public to view and potentially weigh in or comment on or what have you, and then we can move forward with adopting that. So let's entertain a motion for that.
I so move.
We have a motion to defer by Commissioner Meyer. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Nakwi. Any discussion? Any further discussion, I should say? No discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. So, Mr. Wheeler, that will be deferred until the next meeting. So with that, the one thing that I want to make sure that we do, because the meat and potatoes of this meeting, of the Planning Commission regular meeting, is to hear zoning cases. With that, we want to make sure that the regular meeting is conducted in a professional and respectful way. Excuse me. So we want to make sure that everyone can hear, everyone has the opportunity to consume the information, and everyone has the opportunity to weigh in if they're so moved to do so. Excuse me. So what I'd like to do is I want to make sure that we go over I like to call it rules of engagement or code of conduct. And this is just to basically level set and establish, hey, this is how these meetings will run. And you can kind of, we'll say, govern yourselves according to those, to the rules of engagement. And then you can make a decision as to whether or not you are able to abide by those rules of engagement. So essentially, what we will do, and I'll say it this way, the way that we will conduct this meeting is when we're hearing a zoning case, each case is going to be called in numerical order. When the case is called, we ask that the applicant please stand and raise your hand to show that you are here. After that, we're going to call to see if there's anyone that is opposed to this particular or any particular case. And we would ask that anyone that's opposed to the case, please stand and raise your hand so that you can be counted for the record, as well as if there's anyone here that is in support of any particular case. The applicant will testify first or present their case, and then the opposition, if any, will testify or present their opposition second. Each side will get 10 minutes to state their case or concerns. There will be no rebuttal process, so please convey all information to the Planning Commission within your 10-minute period. Additionally, if more than one person wishes to speak on a case, we ask that you guys coordinate with each other about the points that you want to talk about, because each side only gets 10 minutes, and you may or may not want to cover the same information more than once. After both sides have their 10-minute presentation period, the Planning Commission will have our discussion. We'll discuss the case. And from that discussion, as a Planning Commission, we may request one of the speakers to come back to the podium for additional information. We may also ask that the applicant come back to the podium for essentially for Q&A. After that, the Planning Commission, we will then render a we will render a decision. And again, well, let me take a step back. Decision is the wrong word to use. The Planning Commission makes a recommendation to City Council whether or not to approve or deny or defer a case. So we are making a recommendation. City Council makes the final call. So again, we recommend, City Council approves or denies. We ask that, we ask that any of your cell phones, please turn them off or turn them on silent. And we ask that, given the small size of the room, that those in attendance, we ask that you refrain from any unnecessary side conversations. And that's simply so that staff, the Planning Commission, we can focus on the comments that are being made. We can focus on the case that's being presented, because side conversations, cell phones ringing, it becomes a distraction to the staff, and it also becomes a distraction to the Planning Commission. The last part is any applicants, opposition or interest or opposition or so I say supportive parties. Well, actually, we'll do it this way. So I want to make sure this is done correctly. Pardon me, I'm sorry about that. There we go. Okay. So just for policy, public written comments should be due to the Planning Commission by 12 noon, the Monday of the week of the public hearing. And all public comments can be mailed to zoning@mableton.gov. The public hearing is open to additional public comment for each application, but prior comments made after the deadline may or may not be heard at the discretion of the Planning Commission as to whether or not it'll be accepted. Last but not least, prior to any meetings, before the Planning Commission hears it, state law requires that any applicants or opponents to any cases to complete and file a zoning disclosure form if you've made any donations to any applicants, and that is pursuant to Georgia law. So once we get to the cases, we will ask again, has anyone made any contributions or donations to any applicants? And we will document, excuse me, as such. If you feel like you cannot abide by these rules of engagement, we would kindly ask that you step out. If your phone rings, step out, take the call, so on and so forth. But we want to make sure that these things are in place to make sure that everyone has a fair opportunity and an equal opportunity to hear and consume all the information that's going to be presented on any given week. Excuse me. So with that, now the next thing is there has been a request to amend the agenda. There is a presentation for the City of Mableton 2045 comp plan. There's been a request to move it from item 6C on the agenda and move it up to essentially, let's just say 5A. So I will open it up for discussion to the Planning Commission if we want to entertain making that edit or that amendment to the agenda.
I recommend that we make the amendment to move 7A to 5C. 6C to 5A, and move forward with hearing the presentation.
Okay. So we have a recommendation to amend the agenda to move 6C to essentially 5A by Commissioner Davis. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a second from Commissioner Jeter. Any discussion, any further discussion? Let me say it that way. No further discussion? Okay. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay, so we have one nay from Commissioner Valenzuela. The ayes will have it, so we will amend the agenda. And with that, since we are now essentially at 5A, we will ask Mr. Funny, you can step to the podium and make your presentation. It is to my understanding that this will be an amended presentation aside from what we saw and heard in the work session last week. Is that correct? It's an abbreviated version. Perfect. Okay. And we just want to be mindful of the public's time, but we appreciate it.
Okay, there we go. Good evening, Mr. Chair and Planning Commission. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to present to you in this public setting the City of Mableton 2045 Comprehensive Plan. I'll jump right into this because, as you mentioned earlier, we did present at your Planning Commission work session on the 26th of March. So this is just the formality to put this on public record as it relates to the comp plan status. You're very familiar with the city staff and the consultant team. With me today, my deputy project manager is here, Allison. She's with me and she'll be tagging in on the presentation, but this project has been going on since 2024, so you're very familiar with the team. I'm not going to go through that. Just for the public knowledge, the comprehensive plan is really a tool that the city would utilize to create the vision, the long-term vision for the city of Mableton being a new city. And it really sets the tone for the vision and the goals of the city based upon input from the community that focuses on a variety of different areas such as land use, transportation, economic development, I already said land use, sustainability, and there are like 7 different areas that we evaluate. Also with the comp plan, DCA, which is the Department of Community Affairs, requires that the city complete the comp plan in order to be certified by DCA, which would include also the future land use map that will be a part of this document. And then the final piece, the third leg to the stool, is the comprehensive work program, a community work program. DCA requires that we identify the community work program, which is a list of projects, policies, or programs that comes from the robust overall plan. Now, as a part of that, DC also requires that the city identify 5 years worth of project to be able to budget and prioritize what will be done during the first 5 years of this long-term plan. It is a 20-year vision plan, but there are some immediate needs that we've identified within the project list. Here's the process that we took. This is the typical process for developing a comp plan, assessing the existing conditions, engaging the community, developing the vision and goals, and then we move right into recommending policies and projects based upon what we've heard. So the policies and projects that's in the plan speaks directly to the goals and the visions that have been established with participation from the steering committee, from the mayor and council individual interviews, from the stakeholder interviews. So each of them allow us to pick their brain to determine what do they envision for the city of Mableton over the next 20 years. From that, we are moving now into the finalization of the plan and to begin to implement the plan, which is to get it adopted by city council. We'll be having several other meetings between now and then before it's adopted, but just to give you an idea of what were the bucket of work items that we worked on. As I mentioned earlier, this project started in August of 2024, and we're now in April of 2026. So we've gone through the different bucket of exercises of doing the existing condition, the needs, opportunities, and strategy identification. And then I spoke about the work program, which includes many more projects than the 5-year window, but all of the projects as we see it exist from the needs assessment and the existing analysis. Between now and June, we'll be working with City Council to basically move the document through the review process with the Atlanta Regional Commission as well as DCA. They have an opportunity to review the document. The neighboring jurisdiction have an opportunity to review the document to make sure that there are no conflicting items in the document that Mableton would like to adopt that may conflict, for example, with Smyrna, being that you're bordering Smyrna. So they would want to be able to see what is it that Mableton is looking to do. Work completed, and I focus on the community engagement component because it's very important that this is the people's plan. This is a plan that everyone has been involved with from the start and the onset. I mentioned earlier we had the one-on-one mayor and council interviews. We had focus groups. We held key stakeholder interviews. We held 4 steering committee members interview, and I'm looking at you all because there are 3 of you that served on the steering committee. Thank you for your service. You helped steer us through this process because, as I mentioned at the work session, we're the professionals coming in to do this. We don't live here. So you help guide us with things as it relates to the local nature of what's here in the city of Mableton so that we can then interpret that and analyze it from the professional spotlight to make sure that we're incorporating the local flair of this plan. We've held 3 public meetings thus far. The last one was November 6th. Our final public meeting will be April 15th of 2026. That will be our final public meeting. So if you can blast that on your social media or email blast, because we want the public to really come out and see the draft plan and give us input on the draft plan. Again, the final public meeting will be April 15th, Wednesday, April 15th at 6:30 p.m. and it will be at the Epicenter. So please share the word so that we can get everyone out and give us input on the plan. There are some pictures that we took along the way to show you how engaged people were with the planning process. You may recognize a few faces on these pictures. I don't know who that is right there. But, but we did that intentionally because we want to show people that we really had folks at the table with their sleeves rolled up, helping us develop this plan. There's some other pictures there. I think that's the steering committee meeting there. As I mentioned earlier, there are 7 different areas we worked on in the plan: land use, economic development, housing, transportation, environment and sustainability, cultural resources, and historic preservation. Being a robust document, the structure of the chapters all follow the same format. This is the structure of the chapter for each of the work areas. We did the existing condition analysis. We did a write-up on the community feedback and the priorities based on what we've heard. We also did the needs and opportunities section. We wrote up on the goals, and then we have the recommended policies and action items. And then for each area, we talked about some future land use guidance as it relates to each work area. Some goals, and I'm not going to go through each of these. These are well documented in the document, in the draft plan. I'm just going to touch on 1 or 2 of each. Land use, people wanted to create a true downtown district. They want diversity of non-residential uses. From economic development, a couple of the goals was to grow the entertainment district. That's over near the Six Flags area. They want to expand Mableton employment base by bringing employers here that people can live, work, and play in Mableton. Housing element, they want to address the declining housing condition, being that there are several properties within the cities have reached their life expectancy and it's time for something to change. So we heard that a lot. And they also want to see a mix of housing from single family to townhomes, duplexes, so that if someone is graduating from Georgia Tech and they would like to buy a house, they can afford that here. So they want to see not only people that are making the 6-digit salary, but they also want the entry-level housing market to be increased here in the city. Transportation, of course, improve mobility and accessibility, improve, modernize the infrastructure, upgrading intersections and making it more safer for all users, pedestrians, vehicular traffic, freight traffic within the area. Environment and sustainability element, clean up Mableton. We heard that a lot. People want to see the roadway and the corridors cleaned up, adding trash receptacles. So if you have trash, you put it in a trash can versus throwing it in the sidewalk. So they talked about that a lot in the planning process of how do we implement policies to help clean up Mableton. Protect and expand the tree canopy. That's something that we love in the region because it provides a nice shaded area and it helps with the environments also with providing nice greeneries and it gives you the nice shaded area for the heated days that we live in this region. Cultural resources, growing the arts community, that was stated very well. We have the Mableton House here, the Mable House, and people want to see that expand and they want to see other art brought into development as the city grows. Historic preservation, history has happened and people want to tell the story of Mableton. And what we've heard is not just tell part of the story, but tell the full story so that everyone can get a full overview of what is the history of Mableton. I'm going to bring up Allison at this point, and she's going to talk to us about the land use strategy and our approach to land use for this comp plan. Allison.
Great. Thank you, John. Good evening, everyone. I know y'all went through all of this earlier, so we're not going to go through every single character area, but I do want to give you a very brief reminder of what is in your draft comprehensive plan. Your land use section is probably the most important element. No offense to John's transportation section. But this is really, especially for you all as the Planning Commission, this is going to be your guide going forward. So I really want to encourage y'all to take a close look at it. I want to commend Commissioner Meyer for providing lots of comments. I read every single one of them this weekend, so thank you for providing those. What we did do was we kind of combined a character area approach with a future land use approach. These are the character areas that we have mapped throughout the process with a lot of citizen input for your land use guidance. You can see here we've got about 9 or so different districts. What we've done is we've created a land use table. This table has every single land use that we think could be appropriate in Mableton in some location. So this gives some idea of what it looks like, name, and a description of it. So I won't go through all of these, but this is just an example. For each of those character areas, we have a sort of a small mini section that goes into those details. So we have a map of what that character area is. We have a sort of vision text piece for that character area. And then we also have some images to help talk about some of the character. The big piece that I really want to make sure y'all are kind of wrapping your minds around is sort of this stoplight. This is a little bit of an unusual approach. It's not in a lot of comprehensive plans. Usually what happens with a comprehensive plan is you kind of get this green, right? You say, okay, these are the land uses that are appropriate in this character area, but you don't get any guidance on the rest of this. So what we wanted to do is say, okay, in that whole land use table, we want to give you all guidance on every single one of those options for generally how appropriate that land use is going to be in that geography. So the idea is that everything in green is generally going to be appropriate. Yellow might be appropriate depending on the context and some of the details, and red is generally not appropriate. That yellow category can be tricky, and really the intent behind that is to say, okay, in some situations it might be okay, but this is sort of the venue to really discuss that and get into the details, and you as the community need to kind of figure out, are we okay with this use in this area? John also mentioned that we have the community work program. Again, this is the to-do list for the city for the next 5 years. There are 89 projects and initiatives. That might sound like a lot, but I've seen some with like 600, so this is pretty manageable. We have a number for land use, economic development, housing, transportation, environment sustainability, cultural resources, and historic resources. I do want to call attention to a few of the items on this work program that I think are particularly important for you all, which is creating a Mableton-specific zoning code that aligns with the comprehensive plan. Right now, y'all are working from an inherited code that doesn't align with this comprehensive plan. So to really make sure that this comprehensive plan is implementable and that y'all can really take all that great input that we've created and gather from the community and put it into action, following this up with a really great zoning code rewrite is highly recommended. We do recommend a number of other planning efforts to kind of dive into some more of those details, particularly around your corridors, really looking at that relationship between land use and transportation, and also a couple of other plans such as a comprehensive transportation plan and a parks and recreation master plan. Like John mentioned, we have a final public meeting on Wednesday, April 15th. We will also be coming in front of City Council for public hearing number 2, which I believe is the last week of April, or second to last week? Yes. That will not be a meeting that says, yes, we adopt this plan. All that meeting is for your City Council to say, yes, we approve this plan going to the state for review. So it is not the end all be all. There's still a little bit of wiggle room in there, but the state needs to review it to make sure that it meets their standards. Usually you get comments back within a month or so. Then we'd be back in front of your city council for adoption later this summer. So with that, that's all we have for you. So take any questions that you all may have.
Go ahead, sir.
I heard you say that the state would have input. So is it that they're going to actually tell us to change something, or they're just recommending something?
So it can be both. So the state has a series of standards that by law your comprehensive plan has to meet. Your plan does meet all those. It's basically like, do you have all the sections? Did you do everything that we demand that you do? So the state doesn't really look at the content so much as, did you actually do what the law says you have to do for the plan? Now, they will make some comments that say, hey, we recommend you do this, and you don't have to do those for state approval.
So, 2 things. I have a document that I'm getting ready to send you guys.
Okay.
A lengthy one, but I'm going to send you some commentary. Can you please repeat for the community members how many more opportunities the community has to weigh in on this? I think that's extremely important that they know when, where, what time, so that way if we have people that have not participated yet or before, that they know when, where, what time, like how many more opportunities they have to participate in this.
Sure. So I would say for the comprehensive plan, I would say there's 2 more opportunities. So April 15th is the big one. We will have a much longer presentation for that meeting, and we will also have all of those character areas and all of those details on boards, as well as every single one of those community work program items. So that's going to be a very detailed look. You can spend as much time as you want digging into things. We'll be there for questions. So if you haven't had an opportunity to participate yet, that is definitely the meeting you want to be at, and that is at 6:30 at Epicenter, April 15th.
Perfect.
One other point also, if you go to for the public's knowledge, if you go to the website for the comp plan, mableton2045.org. Every presentation from every steering committee meeting is there. Every presentation from the previous public meetings are there. The draft comp plan is there. And there's a comment form that you can actually complete on the website. And when you put your comment in, your name, identification, and we need that because we need to be able to communicate with you if we don't understand a specific question, it will come to the team from the website. So please visit the website because all of the documents are there. The most important document that's there is the draft comprehensive plan.
Thank you. Any other questions from any other PCs? Okay. Seems like I think we're pretty well taken care of, and I think you've answered a lot of our questions already. So thank you guys for taking the opportunity to be here with us today. I think it's very important that you present in a public setting, so that way, one, it's recorded and it goes out to the community at large. But the community that's present here today can get to see and hear this information, and they know how to access this information. So I appreciate it. I'm sure all the planning commissioners appreciate your time as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you also. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No. And with that, thank you. So with that, we will move to the next item, which is, we'll call this 5B now. This is unfinished business. So this is REZ 2025-006. Mr. Wheeler, I think you have an update for us.
Yes, sir. Earlier today, the applicant submitted a letter to withdraw their application without prejudice. I uploaded the letter onto Civic Clerk and as well as submitted to the planning commissioners as well too.
And just for the public's information, withdrawing without prejudice means what?
Oh, that they can be able to reapply immediately, essentially.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Is that immediately or is it within a year? I think the
No.
last time you said take a year.
No, if they were denied, then they would have to wait an entire year. However, if they can withdraw and without prejudice, again, they can apply within the next calendar cycle.
And do we need to take a vote to approve the withdrawal?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
I would make a motion that we allow REZ 2025-006 to withdraw without prejudice.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the withdrawal without prejudice for application REZ 2025-006 from Commissioner Meyer. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Nakwi. Any further discussion from the Planning Commission?
I'd just like to say that I think this is a very unique circumstance we find ourselves in with this comp plan happening right now in this case that we've unfortunately had on our docket since about September. It's a unique situation, so I want everybody to kind of think about it in terms of how we're going forward with the new comp plan and opportunities we may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Valenzuela. Any other discussion? No further discussion? Okay. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
I'm sorry for that. Could you again, who made the motion to accept the withdrawal and then go, who did the second?
Sure. So the motion was.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You have it?
Yeah, they got it.
Okay,
all right.
no problem. So we'll redo this. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. So this application, it's been accepted. Well, the withdrawal without prejudice has been accepted. So from that, we will move on to new business. And this is going to be item 6A, REZ 2026-002. Mr. Wheeler?
Yes, sir. The applicant is Mr. Quentin Wiggles. He's here to seek to rezone subject property 640 South Gordon Road from R20 to residential duplex for the development of a duplex and / accessory structure. This is the subject property. The star indicates the location of the subject property. As staff has already indicated, the subject property is on R20. Future land use of the subject property is medium density. The future land use map will be on my left side. Again, so is this star, as the star indicates the location of the subject property. This is just an aerial photo and a concept plan the applicant has submitted for consideration. As the applicant had previously had bought this property, is already gone through the permitting process through Cobb County. So he bought it as is with the parcel already being cleared and graded and permitted and so forth. The applicant is here seeking just to rezone so he could continue the development of that. But previously the previous owner already went through the development process with Cobb County and got the prior approvals for him to do clearing and grading on the site. Again, this is just a sketch of what the applicant is intending on developing on the subject property. It intends on developing the duplex of 2 units, and then there's a parcel potential accessory dwelling at the rear of the subject property of the primary dwelling. This is just a closer look, as you can see, what the applicant intends on developing. The applicant can provide more detail once he comes up for their presentation. This is a proposed elevation which the applicant has intended on developing as, again, 2 units, 2 single car garage, and 2 separate entries into this to the building. These are the proposed interior of the subject property, of the proposed development. And the applicant, I'm sure, has updated renderings as well to provide to the Planning Commission. This is the zoning criteria, which again, you'll be using to make your determination tonight. For all applications that come from the Planning Commission, you have 6 criteria which will determine if the applicant should be approved, denied, or held for additional information. Staff has already provided analysis of this in our staff report. Staff does recommend approval of the applicant with 6 conditions. However, we do recommend approval just of the units of the duplex and not the actual accessory structure. Unless you do approve it, the accessory structure cannot be used as a habitable dwelling, but just more of just an accessory structure to the primary building. And these are the, I'm sorry, not 6, but 8 conditions. And these are the other following conditions as well too.
Okay, thank you. See, the applicant is here, correct?
Mr. Wiggles.
All right, so just by a show of hands, do we have anyone from the community that is here in support of this application? 1? Okay. And on the opposite side of that, do we have anyone from the community that is in opposition to this application? 1. Good. Okay. All right. So with that, we'll ask the applicant to step to the podium. As we stated before, you guys will have 10 minutes. You can present for the full 10 minutes, or if you come in at 8, it's totally up to you. But thank you for being here this evening. We appreciate it.
All right. I'm Quentin Wiggles, a long-standing member of the Mableton community, a committed small business owner, and thoughtful resident whose vision for his property is rooted in family stability and responsible development. As reflected in the staff report for the, I seek to rezone this property from R20 to residential duplex to allow modest and well-considered residential development. I have called Mableton my home since 2006. My connection to the Mableton community is not distant or speculative. It is personal, living and deeply rooted. My business sits directly across from the property, the subject property, reinforcing my daily presence and long-term investment in the area. I am not an absentee developer. I am only but a neighbor seeking to improve his own surrounding with care, intention, and accountability. And at the heart of my request, this simply is a sincere goal to develop high-quality residential home that are affordable for ownership. I do not engage in short-term rental activity or speculative investment practices. Instead, my vision reflects stability and generational value. One of the duplexes is intended for sale, and one of them live in on the other side. I reserved like the ADU building for my oldest daughter, one of my daughters, and in addition, I hold on a second. My addition, I propose to have it as their instruction to serve as personal resident accommodation during extended work periods. My intent is not to intensify the use, but to create practical and supportive environment that align with my daily responsibilities. Beyond the beyond the built environment, I express strong commitment to sustainable living. A portion of the rear yard is intended for my domestic gardening, inspired by a personal health journey that has deepened my appreciation for organic produce and centered living. It's important to recognize that I approach this process with both awareness and respect for the city's regulatory framework. I also understand that the plans submitted are conceptual, and I wholeheartedly welcome continued collaboration with the staff and reviewing agencies to refine the design in a manner that meets all applicable standards. This led me to host a community zoning information meeting on the 23rd of this month at the event hall on South Gordon Road and Factory Shows to address any other concerns of the resident and get plausible feedback of the design and architecture standard. Unfortunately, only one concerned real estate agent was present at the meeting. Furthermore, I am open to a reasonable and well-founded condition that will ensure compatibility with the surrounding neighborhood and uphold the intent of the city's development policies. More importantly, I express a sincere desire to fairness and understanding. I believe that this request aligns with what is permitted by right within the city code, and I respectfully request a balanced and pragmatic consideration of this application. My appeal is rooted in entitlement, but it's a genuine hope that my circumstances, my intentions, and my commitment to the community will be thoughtfully weighed. I am not seeking to overdevelop nor to disrupt the character of the neighborhood. I'm only seeking an opportunity to build responsibly, live intentionally, and contribute meaningfully to the fabric of Mableton. With humility, I place my trust in wisdom and discretion of our esteemed planning commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr. Willer, does that say that it's 6 minutes, 16 seconds left? Yes, sir. Okay. So I'll make the call again if you have another 6 minutes, 16 seconds. So if you want to take that time to provide any more information, make any addendums to the presentation, you have 6 minutes left.
Oh. This is my updated version. Like, I know you showed something else on there,
Yes.
but this is what it will look like.
Do you have additional copies, or is that the copy?
No, this is the copy.
Would you, Mr. Willer, can you at least give that to us so we can pass it down the table?
You can change that for me. You can just email it to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we can have, so at city council, they can have it in their back.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Willer. Again, if you have 6 minutes left, you don't have to use it. I'm just making sure that you know that you have 6 minutes at your disposal.
That's what I did like previously. You want some? Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Step to the podium, speaking to the mic.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name's Chanel Murphy. I'm a realtor, and I am in support of the rezoning. I wanted to share some of the work that Quentin has done in the community already. So if you don't mind, can I pass this over?
Sure.
Can you pass this over? Okay, so he's...
Not this.
Sorry. Yeah, you can show both of those.
Go ahead, you can,
Okay.
you can
So
speak.
those pictures are properties that he has built already in this city. And so like I said, I'm in favor of the duplex because it does provide additional housing and affordable housing for the people in need. And I stand here not only as a realtor, but as a mother. I have 4 children, and I understand the importance of having affordable housing for families. So I would also like to say that Quentin is a very hardworking citizen, and he cares about the people. He acts with integrity, and he is just an asset to the community, and he cares about the community, and he cares about the things that he builds in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have, 4 minutes and 38 seconds left? If you don't have anything else, you can yield the rest of your time. You can have a seat, thank you. And we did have, we had one person in opposition, correct? Okay, so anyone in opposition, please step to the podium. You'll have 10 minutes. You can use all of it or some of it.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Ford, and I represent the Mableton Improvement Coalition. I chair the zoning committee. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of MIC, of the MIC board, to ask that you recommend denial of this zoning application as presented. The plan is incomplete and critical issues are not addressed. The site plan that's presented and is available online to the public doesn't include the ADU at all in the site plan. It's here, but it's not available in the actual site. Additionally, we concur with the statement from staff that the 0.99 acre parcel is appropriate for a duplex, but not for the third residence. This will necessitate a redrawing of the application. We also agree with staff that the max 2 unit top is what's needed to match the medium density residential category for this property. Parking as presented in the application is not adequate, and candidly, it's almost impossible. Although these are 2-bedroom units, that doesn't mean there'll be 2 car homes. And although the new picture that I could kind of see passed around involved 2 garages, what was presented in the application was a single car garage. And with the angle of the driveway, and then you've got the ADU back here, imagine any guest parking. It's just inadequate parking, and it's going to lead to unpleasantries as well as parking in the yard. Additionally, there's not a lot of clarification around the term affordable. It's a word that we hear applicants used, but without measurable metrics to back up what that actually means. Is this something that's going to involve tax credits? Is this a certain income? What does that word mean? And just would like more information as far as that's concerned. We also would like something that looks more like a home. The elevations that were presented in the application resemble townhomes, kind of just the end of what you would imagine a large townhome unit looking like. And again, just kind of saw something there. Look, that was better, but the application as presented is not really compatible with the area. And although that road is a bit of a hodgepodge of different things, those particular elevations really stand out as incompatible with what's around it. As always, we are appreciative of the applicant's interest in Mableton and the addition of more housing. This plan is simply not feasible as presented. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of the public comment process.
Thank you. All right, so we have 7 minutes and 3 seconds left. I know at the onset, one person raised their hand in opposition. Because there's 7 minutes left, if there is anyone here that's mustered up the courage, that wants to speak in opposition? We have 7 minutes left, and I'll give you guys a few seconds to get over your public speaking fears. Okay, looks like there's no one else that wants to speak in opposition. So with that, we'll yield back the 7 minutes and we'll close the public comment portion of the hearing. And we will open it up for Planning Commission questions, debate. And this is open for anyone to start with any questions.
Mr. Wheeler, I do have a question for staff. In regards to the ADU, is that really a zoning? I'm trying to wrap my head around how we impact that. Is it allowable in the residential duplex zoning category? I know it's only certain categories, zoning categories allow ADUs to be built. Is it something that they would have to apply for after the fact? Can you give us some details on that?
So yeah, technically it is allowed. Duplexes are allowed. Habitable dwelling units are allowed under our current zoning code. They are not listed as something that's not permitted in residential duplex. However, staff is typically the opinion in the position that since the applicant is requesting to go from residential duplex, from R20 to duplex, when included the duplex, included the accessory dwelling unit on the back end, it is that we want to be clear that we are okay with the duplex. However, we don't want to promote the accessory dwelling unit because that would still increase the overall intensity of the property itself. The duplex is just for the duplex. Again, staff's still opinion is that we probably need to change the zoning code to not allow accessory dwelling units as something that's permitted in the residential duplex. Because to me, you're kind of playing around with numbers. And so it kind of goes from not being a duplex to, again, a quote unquote triplex. And I use that term loosely because I'm just trying to give an idea of what the units are on the site. So until we get to that point, staff wanted to kind of just go ahead and preempt and say, hey, we're going through the zoning process and you want to do a duplex, which staff is in agreement, medium density, we get that. However, we don't want to include the accessory dwelling unit because that's not really what the duplex district should be used for. I get it. It's permissible, but since we're going through this process, we just want to kind of just say that's not really what we think was the best interest for that particular area and for the city overall. I apologize if that did not really make any sense. I'm just trying
it made sense, and I know we discussed it during the work session, so I wanted to bring it up here as well, just so everybody can hear the concerns that you alluded to. As just a point of curiosity at this point, would there be an opportunity to split this lot? We discussed during our work session the depth of this lot. It's a 400, 500 foot deep lot. Would there be a way to split it I'm just trying to figure out if there's any other alternatives to what we're discussing.
At this point in time, no, sir, because they do not have the road width. You have to have a minimum of 70 feet
frontage.
Of frontage. And so right now it's at 100 and then 103 along South Gordon. So they don't have enough to be able to split it. Yes, it's deep enough, but again, it's not wide enough to accommodate that.
Thank you.
So question for you, Mr. Wheeler. Can we talk about the density? So it's R20 now. Mm-hmm. The request is to go to RDU, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And what's the density for RDU?
It's 4 units per acre.
4 units per acre.
Yeah.
And as presented, and I'm saying as presented with the ADU, what will the density be?
Well, it'll probably be at 3 units per acre. If what's the acreage? 0.99. Yeah, so we're almost at an acre, and so with the other units, it's 3 units per acre.
Okay. Yeah. Future land use is medium density.
Yeah.
And what is the allowable density there?
Up to.
Say it again, Mr. Sunday. 5 units per acre. Okay.
Just come up and see. So, yeah. Like I said, you're on now.
Or use the mic or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, you can say it into the mic.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
For
5 unit per acre
That's-
based on the Mableton zoning code.
that's for future land use category, medium
the-
density residential.
And that's for the 2040 interim comprehensive plan adopted by the city and council. It's 5 unit per acre for medium density residential.
Okay. So even with 2 units plus an ADU, that would still be at what, 3? Because it's 0.99 acres. So with 3 units, it'd basically be like 3 or maybe 3.1 or some, whatever it is.
You're correct.
Okay. That's what I wanted to clarify. Okay.
It's my first time seeing the new design. The old design I had issues with, but the new one, I'm good. But again, this is my first time seeing it. How long was this presented to you all? Because this is it wasn't in the work session.
Oh, yeah, so it's new to us at this point in time. We did not receive this before the meeting started, so we saw it just as soon as you saw it.
So does that make a difference?
It doesn't materially make a difference from us. It can make a material difference for you guys as far as the overall design of the duplex. So if you like this design more than you like the current design, then of course, yes, it makes a difference for you. But for staff standpoint, that doesn't really make a difference from us. That's purely more cosmetic and so forth.
Okay.
I think that this is a good location for a duplex. I think that that's a good call for this property. It's adjacent to a small, but hopefully one day redeveloped and improved commercial area. What concerns me, though, is are the future possibilities. I appreciate very much the work that Mr. Wiggles has spoken about, and that the other speaker alluded to as well. But it's our job as the Planning Commission to look past whoever currently owns property and understand what might happen in the future. And so when I look at this proposal, I'm having to think about what if these were 3 separate rental units, because I think that's something that could well happen. Mr. Wiggles indicated that he plans to sell this to somebody who would occupy one side, but that person could sell it to somebody who looks at it purely as a rental property. One thing I think would improve this plan dramatically is if the duplex unit had rear entry garages so that all the parking was behind the housing units. The drawing that we have been going on of these 2 separate driveways just seems to me to be completely infeasible. It looks like ways for neighbors to really dislike each other. But if the driveway came in off South Gordon, went past the building, and then cars entered the garages from behind the building, there could also be additional parking there because, as the opposition noted, 2 bedrooms does not equal 2 cars anymore in this day and time. I think the elevations are an improvement. Of course, we didn't have time to study them, and that would be the best situation. But I have to bear in mind that those elevations showed 2 separate driveways coming off Gordon Road, and the DOT comments indicate that there has to be 100 feet between driveways. So there will be one shared driveway here. And how people, neighbors, initially strangers, manage that one driveway, I think is very important, not just for their personal happiness, but for the appearance of the property over time, because not staying on the paved surfaces, parking in the grass is just way too tempting when you can't get around somebody who has got their car locked and not home and you need to get out. I also think that there's an opportunity to look for some architecture that does look like one single-family home. I'm not sure exactly what that would look like. I'm not an architect. But I think anything that you can do that does give that appearance would be great. Because this is a duplex, but there's no rule that says both units have to be identical. One side, one unit could be a little bit larger, one unit a little bit smaller. One could have the front door, one could have a side door. We're only limited by imagination here, not by any kind of zoning rules that says these have to be identical. I would also be very interested in a landscape plan. It's a shame that that every single tree on this property was removed before the applicant purchased it. I don't know exactly what the city's tree ordinance would require be done, but I think it would be helpful for the Planning Commission to understand what that might be. And we would certainly be looking for some front yard canopy trees as well as trees in the back. I guess none of those were questions. Those were those were just thoughts.
It's okay. I do have a question for the applicant, though, if you don't mind stepping back. And Mr. Willer, I think I'll need your assistance as well. So the floor plan that's in the application, can you pull that up, please? Yeah. Okay. And so this is the main floor. Can we go to the second floor? That's okay. I have it on mine. So what I'm looking at here in the application is that's the main floor, and I don't see any bedrooms on the main floor. On the second floor, I see 3 bedrooms.
Right.
Okay. So the elevations that you presented today, is it going to be drastically different from the floor plan that we see in the application?
Only difference would be it could be a two-car garage and 3 bedrooms on the second level.
Okay, so you're not losing or adding any additional bedrooms or anything like that. It's still going to be 3 bedrooms.
Nothing else.
Okay. Well, it'll be a 2-car garage as opposed to one, so
Absolutely.
that'll be additional space there. Okay. Go ahead.
Could you hold the picture up again one more time? Because this is the first time we've seen it.
Like break front at the bottom, like above the water table.
You see a little grass in the middle.
Yeah.
Which side is gonna be responsible for that?
Oh no, I'll figure it out.
My next question is, one of the commissioners made she had a question about being able to have the garages in the back. Is there enough room for cars to get around it?
It probably would be, but
Step to the podium, please.
I'm sorry. I would get with the architect and see on that right there. I don't really know.
What it'll do, because all that land you got in the back, even if people want, you
Yeah,
had more
you're
cars,
right.
then you wouldn't be able to see all that on the street.
It go far back too. It really does.
Yeah, I think you may get with your architect and see if that's feasible.
Yeah.
Because that was a good suggestion. Yeah.
So would you be amenable to
not-
rear entry as opposed to front entry?
It sounds like a pretty good idea.
And also, would you be amenable to a landscape plan that includes some type of tree canopy? Not saying you have to plant 40 trees, but
Yeah, I got a good landscaper to come out and do a good job.
okay. All right. Do we have any further discussion, questions, concerns from any other planning commissioners? So one thing that I would say is our role as planning commissioners, we're not here to just simply shoot down your idea or just approve it and push it through. we want to make sure that whatever it is that we're looking at, you have the best opportunity to put the best picture in front of us.
Okay.
And to put the best product out there for the community. I don't know that, I mean, so you presented a different elevation.
Right.
And my opinion is, I think seeing that you are amenable to rear entry as opposed to front entry, the ADU is going to be, based on staff comments, that's a point of concern. I'm of the mindset that maybe you have the opportunity to kind of go back and maybe get with your architect, make some adjustments, make some amendments, and present something that reflects the conversation and discussion that's been had here today. I think that would be a better circumstance or a fairer shot to you to say, hey, okay, let me make some adjustments, amendments, and then come back to the planning commission and say, okay, hey, I made this change here, and kind of also document or show, at least in the site plan, hey, this is landscape, this is what I'm planning to do, bushes, shrubs, trees, whatever it is, and then that way we can get a full picture of what you're trying to present. I feel like that would be that gives you a fair shot to potentially be recommended for approval, potentially. I don't know how any other planning commissioners feel, but again, I will leave it open for discussion before we make a motion, any type of motion.
I agree. I would like to see the suggestions that's been presented updated in the application and presented, and see what we're looking at from that point.
And I'll also, this is for the planning commission. So there was, in the application, there was a little bit of a flub on the Cobb County water notes. There was reference to, where did it go? I just had it. There was reference to a different case. Mr. Wheeler, it was referencing the site and location of existing water mains, and then approximate distance to nearest sewer. It was given, what was in these staff notes was referencing Austell Road, and naturally South Gordon is nowhere near Austell Road. I did forward the correction to everyone. In case that's a sticking point, we have the corrected information or the right information in front of us. If it is or would be a sticking point, but just want you guys to know that it's already corrected. It was just a copy paste or whatever flub, and the wrong one got put in there. But the correct one is there in everybody's email or everybody's inbox. So any other discussion?
I agree with you coming back with the suggestions, since we the one suggested it. So I don't know the time frame they give you to do that, but
Staff they'll take care of that part. But if there's no other discussion, then we can entertain a motion to defer.
defer to another meeting.
I believe that we'll have to,
My bad.
I believe we'll have to specify the date of that next meeting. So, and I don't think we have the ability to go more than to our next meeting, correct?
Well, I was going to say two things. State your reason. If we could state the reason for the deferral, and so we can get down through the notes, and you guys have the opportunity to defer one item one time. Applicant has the item to request a deferral one time, and then staff can hold the item. Remember, for a total, the applicant can request a deferral only up to 100 days. And so this would be a deferral on the planning commission side. And so therefore, if he comes back again and you guys want to defer, it's up to him to make the deferral. You would have to make a choice of approval or denial of the application at that point in time. If it comes to us knowing that Mr. Wiggle needs more time to answer your question, if Mr. Wiggles needs more time to address your concerns and try to get those information, we ask that he let us know probably probably a month in advance or as quickly as possible for advertising purposes and so forth. So that goes along with our policies and procedures and so forth. So that'll be a Monday, sir.
So if we were to make a motion to defer this application, we would have to defer it to May. We can't defer it 60 days.
Yeah, it's going to be to your next meeting
Okay.
because there's the total 100-day deferral process, so it can't go beyond that. And so because 30 and 30 and 30 is the 90, you can't get 60, and then 30 and 30 would put you over 100.
Okay.
Now, given that, I want to make sure I lay all of your options out on the table. You can actually request a deferment as opposed to us making a motion to defer. That could give you, I think, based on policies and procedures, he could request a deferment for 30 or 60 days, or would it have to be 30 days starting out?
Yeah, everyone's limited to the 130 day.
Okay.
So if PC wants to, defer it now, to ask more questions, get more information, then that could be the 30 days required, and then up to the applicant or staff to feel like if they've satisfied that. If he feels like he hasn't, he can request a 30-day at that time, more staff to move it towards you.
Okay. Mr. Willer, were you going to say something?
I'm thinking out loud, but I'm gonna keep my comment to myself.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want to do anything more.
Okay. Please don't. But yes, just laying your options out there on the table. You do have the option to request a deferment or deferral to the next meeting. You don't have to. I'm just letting you know that you have the option to do it.
Yeah, we're just trying to give you some more time, because I know architects take their time, man.
Mr. Chairman, in the interest of moving things along, I think at this point, I'm going to make a motion to defer this case until the May meeting with the request that the applicant incorporate some of the commissioner's recommendations and make the elevations that were presented in hard copy this evening available electronically for the public to view.
Second.
All right. So we have a motion. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. So we have a motion to defer from Commissioner Valenzuela to the next meeting to allow the applicant the opportunity to make the edits and amendments that we have discussed in today's meeting, and also to publish the updated elevations to allow the public to view. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second from Commissioner Meyer. Any discussion? No discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. So this application, REZ 2026-002 has been deferred to allow you the opportunity to make edits and corrections and amendments, and then we will see you back in 30 days.
So the meeting I have on the 22nd is no longer?
Yes.
Correct.
You'll have to go to the city council.
All right. So on the next item on the agenda, I just had it. Thank you. Second new business item is REZ 2026-003. Mr. Willer, thank you.
Yes, sir. The last item for your consideration is the applicant is Pivot LLC. Applicant is requesting to rezone subject property neighborhood retail to residential senior living district. Subject property is 0 Stallion Parkway. Parcel ID, as I put into on the record, is 19108000540. This is the zoning map and the future land use map. Current zoning of the subject property is NRC. Future land use is NAC, is Neighborhood Activity Center. This is an aerial map of the subject property. On the left-hand side is the concept drawing of the development. This is just a blown-up version of the subject property. The applicant does intend on building a multifamily senior housing facility, 3 stories, a total of 61 units inside the building. The applicant has indicated access for the building will be located off Stallion Parkway, no access along Austell Road. The applicant has also indicated that they have enough parking per requirement of our zoning code. There are additional landscape buffers surrounding the subject property, as well as there's a 70-foot setback along Austell Road. This property is located in Austell design guide overlay. This is the old rendering of the subject property. The applicant, I see that they have new updated renderings, and this is just kind of one previous one, and this is probably the more updated rendering as we previously discussed at our work session. As you can see, it's different from, instead of having a flat roof, they have the peaks and roofs as well now. With all our criteria, again, staff has provided analysis of our analysis of the subject. Not subject probably, but analysis of the request. Staff has looked at it and provided in our staff report. Staff does recommend denial of this subject property, as staff believe that this applicant's request does not meet the intent of the comprehensive plan, so therefore we do recommend denial of this request. However, if the Planning Commission does proceed to move forward, recommend approval, we do recommend approval with these 12 conditions, which again, staff has provided that in our staff report as well too. Do we have any questions of staff, or should we wait till the applicant present their presentation?
If the body agrees, we can allow the applicant to present, and then we come back with questions.
Yep.
So as a matter of course, for REZ 2026-003, do we have anyone here in support of this application? So looks like 4. Right here in this section. These 3 plus right here. Oh, okay. All right. Do we, on the opposite side of that, do we have anyone here in opposition to this application? Please raise your hand. We have 0. Okay. And could you make your way to the podium? And you'll have 10 minutes. You can occupy it yourself, or you can share it with everyone else, but those are your 10.
Yes, thank you, sir. Commission members, appreciate your time. My name is Pete Schwigerot. I'm with Pivotal Housing Partners. We're located in 9100 Center Point Boulevard in Westchester, Ohio. Real quick background on our company. Pivotal has been doing affordable housing now for 35 years as a company. We've developed, owned, and managed around 140 communities scattered throughout 13 states. Those 140 developments total over 10,000 units. It does speak to our experience and capacity. More important, I think, as a feature of our company is we are a long-term owner of these. We develop them, we own them long-term, and we manage them long-term. The first one we built 35 years ago, we still own it and just completed about 8 years ago a full update, $11 million renovation of that property because properties do have a lifespan, and you need to reinvest and care for them throughout their life, and we take great pride in that. Nearest you, we do have development over in Douglasville. We have it's a reserve at Douglasville, 200 units of workforce housing. This is going to be a senior independent living facility, so different type of product, but wanted to give you a sample. If you wanted to go see something we've done, you don't have to travel far to see that. We do have development scattered throughout the state otherwise, so welcome to help you learn about our properties here in Georgia as well. When we started this with a market study, we found that there was really a limited senior housing opportunities comparable to this in your community. Meanwhile, it is your fastest growing demographic. And we have a program, or the state has a program, it's DCA, you heard about them earlier. They administer the housing tax credit program for the state, and there's 2 programs, there's the 4% and 9%. The 9% applications for funding go in May. And our ability to get zoning in time would allow for us to apply for financing, secure that financing later this year, potentially start construction spring of '27, which means we would be open and operating and helping house your seniors summertime of '28. We did present a plan with a 61 unit development. I do want to say that since then we have reduced that down a little. We are proposing now at 54 units. It's a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units. They are age restricted, 55 plus. All leaseholders on the lease need to be 55 plus. We average in a facility like this much more like an 80-year-old resident. These are true retirees stepping out of homes, can't keep up with them anymore, living on fixed incomes, and we have the ability to keep those seniors independent as long as we can by providing them, number one, an accessible unit. It's an elevated building, so you have 0 step to every unit. Every unit is 100% accessible and adaptable, has a full host of universal design features, turning radiuses in all the bathrooms, walk-in closets in the bedrooms, slightly lower countertops, wider doorways, wider hallways, additional lighting to make sure seniors of any accessibility level has what they need in their unit to live as independent as absolutely long as they can. The unfortunate circumstance is when folks leave our facility, it's unfortunately either to go into continuum of care that diminishes quality lives or for the unfortunate reason all of us have to face one day. So our goal is to keep your seniors independent and healthy and viable and vital as long as possible. And we do, while we don't fit into your supportive category, we're fitting into your non-supportive category. We do provide programs and services that kind of really put us in between. We do have curb-to-curb transportation for all residents, in-home meals, light housekeeping. We have a service coordinator who's going to provide programming and activities on a daily level, clubs, reading club, card playing, movie nights, all those things will be built in. It's a mostly 1 bedrooms. There are a few 2 bedroom units just so we can provide a variety. In addition to the units, which will have anything and everything you inspect in your own home. We will, on the first floor of this building, have full-time on-site management offices. They're there 40 hours a week. We also have a full-time service tech that's there 40 hours a week. We somewhat kind of cross their hours a little bit so that we technically have someone on site more like 60 hours a week. Beyond that, there's a 24-hour call center. Any issues, residents have the ability to connect with us, and we send somebody out to the site, obviously, as needed to fix problems or deal with issues. It is a secure building. All residents will have electronic fob to buzz themselves into the building. Keeps the building safe and secure, also makes entering the building very easy for our residents. All of those entrance points, the corridors, the elevators, common areas, all have cameras throughout. The parking lot is lit, cameras in the parking lot as well. We want to keep residents safe and secure. That is mission number 1. In addition to that, on the first floor, we have a community room, a community fitness center, a business center, and a theater area, all for residents to use 24/7. With their fob key, they can enter those different on-site amenities and use them as they please. In addition to that, we have external amenities. We will have a picnic shelter, a sun deck with picnic tables and grills. We're going to have community gardens so that residents can do their own gardening, grow their own vegetables as they see fit. As you can see from the site plan, we are trying to be thoughtful to the neighbors. The only residential area to us is to the north. We are trying to give ourselves as big of a buffer as we can to those residential homes. It's 150 feet-ish of fully maintained woods. We're not going to disturb that area. We're going to preserve it as open space and let it grow natural. Same to our rear. We haven't heard from the dialysis center back there, but we did want to give them a buffer, so we're preserving that tree line. And you can see almost half of the site is going to be preserved as open space and woodlands. In addition to that, all of the other areas will be grassed and landscaped to your code. That doesn't show in your plan, but we agree and confirm we will be meeting the code. We will be doing street trees along Stallion and Austell to create that street environment. You can see we've tried to face the building out on the road, put our front facing forward, hide the parking in the rear, create a nice quiet environment in the rear. so that we're not just to see a parking out in front of a building. We really wanted to be thoughtful to how we approach and face the road. One thing, we did have last week a neighborhood meeting. I think we had around 10 to 12 people show up for that meeting. We did show some alternative elevations, and hence we've gone from likely a flat roof approach to a more gabled approach to give the building a little more residential of a feel. We're breaking that building up with facade variations, varying gables, different roof heights, so that it really doesn't look like one big institutional building. Our hope is that it's going to look like a series of smaller buildings that really kind of connect together and trying to create a little bit of a more residential feel. One thing to note is this is a commercial site. We could build on this site a commercial building of this scale, which would have substantially more traffic flow than a senior housing. Senior housing is the lowest flow trip generator of any residential use. With our curb-to-curb transportation, we really have limited need for parking, limited need on burdening the traffic and flow. We average 0.7 cars per unit typically. So meaning we can live on one parking space per unit and still have plenty of overflow parking for events and activities. We are going to meet your code at the 1.25 to 1. It will be a little more parking than we need, but at the same time, our goal is to fit into your code as much as possible. All of the commitments or conditions that have been proposed by staff, we are amenable to. We're not going to do anything with the site beyond what we're proposing. We think it's important for your community to allow your seniors to age in place, age gracefully. If they don't have product like this, they're going to need to look outside the community to find it. And that's not what we want for our seniors or for our aged family members. In total, this is also going to be around $17 million in new investment in the community. That represents around $320,000 a unit for a one-bedroom, so it kind of speaks to the quality. This is a green building. It's built to the National Green Building Standard, super high energy efficient. That's going to simplify this. And one other thing to note is with those tax credits, 100% of these units will be affordable in nature. We're going to be targeting 80% AMI and below, and there's going to be housing options available from the 40% AMI bar, 60% AMI bar, and 80% AMI bar. All of them will have a deeply discounted rent for the resident who gets to benefit from these units, allowing them to live healthier, more viable, and have a little more money to spend in your community. And really, that's what we're about, where we take great pride in serving and taking good care of our residents, which means your residents as well. And we're excited to be here. We understand that you're in the middle of this comprehensive plan change, and to some extent, I think because of that, we're kind of sitting in a place where we don't technically fit exactly in, but at the same time, we feel we're very close, and thank you for your time, and happy to answer any questions if I didn't get to everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you used all 10 minutes. We didn't have anyone here in opposition. We had 4. Was there, I'm going to use a point of privilege here, anyone else that wanted to speak that didn't get the chance to speak since he used the full 10? Okay, so we had one other person that wanted to speak in support of, correct? Okay. Then what I'd like to do is extend the time, the public comment portion. As a body, would 5 minutes be, would that be acceptable?
Fine with me.
Okay. Just as a, excuse me, just want to make sure that we're doing this correctly. Do we need to approve that? Okay. Can we get a motion to extend public comment portion of the hearing for an additional 5 minutes to allow other community members to speak?
Motion to extend for an additional 5 minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to extend from Commissioner Nakwi. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Jeter. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. No opposition. Mr. Willis extended public comments by 5 minutes, and we will do the same for opposition. Ms. Ford, you can step to the podium, please.
Well, I just somehow deleted the excellent soliloquy that I wrote this afternoon. But the gist of it was that while the zoning committee understands that senior residential living urban rental is not in line with the comprehensive plan, we feel the benefits outweigh the technical incompatibility. This particular area, as pointed out, it does have some residential to the north and to the east, but this 150-foot buffer, it's not like this property is going to abut those homes, and it's still going to maintain the character, the low-density character of what's on Seas Road. As far as Roberta Circle over here goes, the dialysis center is in between, so it kind of already is serving as this transition, this commercial transition as it sort of tapers, not tapers, ramps up in density. As he said, there's kind of this missing opportunity for non-supportive senior living in this area. We have a number of, people that are less independent, and some of those are incredibly dense, more so than this. For instance, there's Wisteria on Floyd Road, and its density per acre is much more than this would be, especially with the new proposal. And it's in a wooded, nice area. It doesn't seem to like throw off the vibe of the Silver Comet Trail and the homes that are in that area. But we do have an aging population, and what we've got are options that are outside of the county or on the other side of the county and are astronomically priced. So it's, there's a lot of pros to this. The staff report mentioned that, seemed to oppose that the entrance is on Stallion Parkway, but if you were looking at an, further out view, Stallion Parkway doesn't act as an entrance to any of these neighborhoods. So having the entrance and exit here actually seems like a pro, because it's not going to contribute to all the nightmare traffic that's on Austell Road, but it's also not going to get in the way of anybody in these neighborhoods back here. We would like it, if this is approved, if there were additional stipulations, and some of this is stuff that I think the applicant has already said that they're amicable to, of just some more outdoor activities. There's this huge buffer area, and if possibly there were some passive trails, if there was a site plan included in the final application that involved some sort of like porches where possible on the outside, various sitting areas, community garden, just stuff like that. These people it's great that this kind of thing might be available, but it's still not their home. So having things that you're not just sitting in your room all day, that's good for everybody, no matter what your age is. It's also good to not stare at Austell Road all day, because it is not beautiful. So we would ask that while this, I believe, is a 70-foot buffer and it's pretty substantial, that there be a landscape buffer that goes above and beyond what is required by the city and the Austell Design Guide overlay. So it's basically a wall of green, of, tall, perennial, evergreen options, just to kind of hide the multiple auto uses and things that, and what, we've all seen Austell Road. So while we generally feel that spot zoning is a negative, there are always exceptions, and we believe that this is one of them. So we would recommend approval with the mentioned stipulations. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so there's 33 seconds left. I know that you want to use those 33 seconds. But since we did extend public comments by 5 minutes and so supportive comments basically got 15 minutes, then that means opposition would have the opportunity to speak for 15 minutes. So as a matter of record and in fairness, if there's anyone here in opposition to this application, you will have a total of 15 minutes. So I'll give you a second, if you are here to speak in opposition, to step to the podium. Okay, doesn't look like there's anyone here in opposition. So with that, I guess opposition would yield its time, and at this time, we will close the public comment section of the hearing, and we will open it up for, excuse me, Q&A and discussion amongst the PC. The floor is open for anyone who wants to start.
I do have a question. If you could return to the podium, please. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry I was not able to attend your meeting. I just didn't want to give a quorum. I was called and we talked about it, and I said, I don't even want to cause a problem.
We appreciate that, yeah.
However, I understand that you all talked about security, and I was wondering, what did that look like?
Essentially, security is the electronic fob system, lighting, and cameras. We are not intending on fencing in the parking lot or fencing in the property otherwise. I think when we talked with staff about it also, that would go against some of your code and regulations as well. We do have these properties. We have 2,500 of the senior units, and all of them are secured in the same way with the fobs and the cameras and the lighting. And in many of those, I will say, are in more challenging places than here. And we do not have any issues with that. Certainly, if we had issues, from time to time in more challenging areas, we have hired security from time to time, but we don't feel it's necessary. We don't want it to feel institutional. We would address that if necessary, but we found in our other properties that what we're doing is enough to keep our residents safe and secure.
Well, I do have an aunt that lives in this type of facility.
Okay.
And that she does have the fob access thing. And I think there's a concern of people following people into the building that does not live there, does not have their own fob situation. Now, I don't think having someone at the door will feel institutionalized. It may feel like a reception desk or someone just checking people in to make sure that that's not happening.
And we do have like I said, our on-site management and service tech are there 60 hours a week between the two of them. And so there is that oversight. The management office is at the main door and access point with a glass window right out to the vestibule. So they're there during the workday. They help manage the packages in the mail and things like that coming in as well, which is generally speaking the majority of the guests or the visitors to the property. I will say that we don't have the ability to necessarily hire and full-time security, but we haven't found that. Generally speaking, our properties, our residents do create a neighborhood watch. They're very serious about keeping their, even more so than ourselves, serious about the safety and security of the building. And generally speaking, most are making sure that door shuts behind them or alerting us if there is someone who's in the building that shouldn't be in the building. So we've generally found that to be adequate. I wish we could do more, but to be honest, these are very affordable rents, and we do have to work off the staff that we can put in place, and we will have 2.5 employees, 2 full-time, the on-site manager and service tech, and then that part-time service coordinator who's here also kind of sporadically throughout the week to make sure activities and people's special circumstances are addressed. Appreciate your considerations, though.
You had indicated some outdoor amenities, picnic shelter, community garden, but I think I missed something.
Well, I think so what we had designed into the plan initially was a picnic shelter, a sun deck, with picnic tables in both the sun deck and shelter, and then multiple grills, and then the community gardens. In addition, we have committed since then our willingness to do a passive walking trail through the wooded area as well. And I think that when we do that, there was the mention of maybe having multiple little sitting areas and along a pathway where folks can gather in small groups or individually. That is something we can make sure is accomplished as well.
Does the design of the building in the rear lend itself to some sort of covered porch?
Yeah, in fact, there will be one. It might not show in these preliminary drawings, and please know that if this zoning is approved and we do secure our financing, we'll be back for a final development plan approval where those more detailed plans would show. But normally, we are doing a covered porch at the primary access point. This is the primary access point here, so it will be covered. We also plan to give the building a front face. This is where the community room will be. So outside that community room, we will also have a front porch that will face and look out towards the intersection, and that will be covered with benches and some outdoor area there as well.
Okay.
So it'll be two connected to the building plus the picnic shelter.
So if there were a condition attached to a possible recommendation for approval that listed the picnic shelter, community garden, sun deck with grills, walking trail, gabled architectural style, and covered porch, that would be okay with you?
We would be amenable to that, yes.
Thanks.
What about pickleball and shuffleboard?
Well, I hope I can do that at 80, but we actually did do that at one point with they had badminton nets and they actually created injuries. So we try to limit that. We will be with our curb-to-curb transportation making available access to your recreational centers for the more active folks who can utilize and benefit from that as well.
Well, shuffleboard, I think that'll be easier.
That's maybe something that's more in the zone of. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Quick question. The amenities the external amenities that you mentioned, picnic shelter, grill, garden, can you generally point to where you guys are picturing that it would be? Because I can't tell from this site plan.
This is kind of, we would do it up here. So we got the sidewalk that runs out. We would run this sidewalk along and then do it up here in the woods where the woods are still shown.
And so with these amenities, would you guys, so I know that you mentioned that you're trying to keep the undisturbed buffer there. Mm-hmm. Would you push it back a little bit to make room for the additional amenities?
I mean, ultimately, some of that, we might clear some undergrowth, but save some trees so there's still canopy and do some of that under the trees themselves.
Right.
But we may have to clear a little more than what's shown here.
Right.
As mentioned, this was 61 units, is now 54. So this building's also gotten a little smaller, which gives us a little more room up on that side of the site as well.
So coming down to you said 54, right?
54 total units, yeah.
So coming down to 54 units, would that make the square footage or the footprint of each individual unit, would it make it any bigger? Or are you going to keep the same
units
square
would stay
footage?
the same size. It would turn the building in from what's roughly now about 60 to 70,000 more down to 55,000 square feet total building. So the building will get smaller with that.
Okay.
Amenities will not. The building itself will be just because of the unit cut.
You didn't mention a pool. I'm asking just because. I'm just asking.
I wish we could make that happen.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking because it wasn't mentioned, so I just wanted to.
There's no pool in this one.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
We will help folks get to the community center, though.
If I may, this is a question for staff. Mr. Wheeler or the attorney, one of the proposed conditions of approval is the zoning shall revert to the original NRC classification if the applicant does not receive the necessary tax credit awards for development. Do we need to put a time frame on that, or is it fine to be open-ended the way we've got it currently written?
I guess it's your discretion, but typically, it's your discretion, but typically, there's a time period because you don't want to open ended. So it's upon your suggestion. I don't know how long it'll take to get that or not. It's a little bit different than some other things, so you might consider that. But
What's the typical time frame that, as far as like
but generally, these things are 6 months to a year to get the required whatever's required to get done. This one, is a more unique maybe thing. So I don't know if there's a particular timeline that's longer than that, but
the applicant mentioned, I think you said May 1st or?
Yeah,
some-
if I may, what I would request, and we could take as little as probably 6 months, but what I would request would be probably more like 14 months. The reason I say that is we intend to apply for this financing in May, and we will find out September-ish whether it's funded or not. But if it's not funded, and there's a shot at still getting it funded, we would try again next year.
So you're
assuming
saying the application can be submitted May 26th, then you would find out in September 26th whether or not you got it, I guess maybe the first round.
Yep.
And if you don't get it, excuse me, if you're not approved for the funding in September 26th, then there would be, I guess, another round of applications that you could submit later on.
If we did 14 months, that would allow us to try again 1 year later and still make that window. And but ultimately, like I said, we would accept. Well, the trick is we're going to get funded in theory.
Step closer to
I'm
the-
sorry, we would get funded in September, but we don't immediately close. We still have a lot of hoops to jump through. And so as long as we could prove or provide that we've been funded, we could live on as little as 6 months. But I would request, if you were going to condition it, that you would condition it for 14 months. That would give us the chance to get to that next financing window if we didn't get funded, without having to come back and ask for a couple more months to do it again, try again next year.
And this question is for council, and I just want to make sure that we fully understand timeframes and how we would potentially shuffle throughout timeframes. So if, for example, if the planning commission said, hey, timeframe is 6 months, and let's say, for example, they don't get the funding by September, would they then have to come back and submit another application, or would they come back and request an extension? What would be the process at that point? Just so that way we fully understand how we're going to shuffle throughout this time.
right. I mean, if it's just said like that, then if you don't have it, it would expire, and then your reversion reverts. Now you may put another qualification on that. Say, you have whatever 6 months or a year to do this. Unless there is some reason why it's not working, and an applicant submit in writing, then we can consider an extension on that.
Okay, thank you.
If I might, I would suggest that we provide a period of 2 years for receipt of the necessary tax credits. Even though it doesn't seem like that's necessary at this point, I don't think in this day and time we can predict how government programs are going to operate. And I say that as representative of a government body. But I would hate to, the tax credit program is extraordinarily competitive. And if we are supportive of this project, I would hate to put it in some jeopardy because the zoning approval that we have granted contains a condition which might seem to a reviewer as somehow not full approval, and then result in that application potentially being disqualified. So I would if we're supportive of this, 2 years is not a long time in the development world.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I'm in support of what she just stated. But I also like this because it's right across the street from the fire station, ambulance, and it's down the street from the hospital.
Okay.
So what else can a senior ask for?
A poll, I guess. I didn't say that.
And Mr. Wheeler, one quick question. This is a staff question. Given the zoning codes, it kind of falls within let's just call it a gray area to where there's nothing technically on the zoning code that specifically and explicitly allows for this, but there is some latitude to where if this fits the community that we can kind of find some wiggle room. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, you as the planning commissioners, you have that discretion. I mean, you can, if you all believe this is something that's good for the community, you know, that's your discretion, again, to be able to use that. There's nothing in the zoning code that says that otherwise, but as planning commissioners, you're tasked to listen to public comment and provide and listen and discern from the information that staff has provided to you, the applicants provided you, as well as taking in public comment to determine what is the best action that should be taken for this application. So that's just a long way to say, yes, you have discretion to proceed if you want to. If the body wants to proceed to approve this, then you can do that. Again, that's within your purview.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that question and that answer because I think we all, everybody I talk to anyway, is aware of the critical need for affordable housing and especially affordable senior housing. And somehow or the other, we find ourselves with apparently a zoning code that not only doesn't allow for this project to be here, but doesn't allow for it to be anywhere in the city. And that just flies in the face of common sense. We have a problem. We have something which will be a small but partial solution to that problem. And personally, I can't think of a reason to say no to it.
Okay. I think that's a good way to put a bow on it. So if there's no further discussion or questions, and you can have a seat. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, then we can entertain a motion on this particular application. If we want to recommend approval with stipulations.
Can I ask a question?
To the applicant or?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
Ms. Ford commented that one of the stipulations that the staff recommended was the access was on Osto Road?
No, it's
No?
on Stallion Parkway.
Yeah.
You cannot enter the property.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking at it and I was not seeing that. I wanted to make sure that it was on Stallion. That's
No,
all.
there's only one entry point, which is Stallion Parkway,
Mhm.
which is right here at the where you see Stallion Parkway.
Yeah.
It'll just be landscape and street lighting
Yeah.
on Austell Road.
Okay, yeah, just making sure that was,
Okay.
So the entrance is on Stallion, but you got parking in the back, so you got doors in the back to go to the parking lot. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's 3 access points from the rear.
All right.
Are we ready for a motion?
All right. We ready to entertain a motion? Excuse me. And I'll leave it open. If you want to make the motion, that's fine.
I believe we may have some additional conditions to add, but I'll start.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval of REZ 2026-003 with the proposed conditions of approval in the staff report with the amendment that zoning condition 1, the zoning shall revert to the original NRC classification if the applicant does not receive necessary tax credit awards for the development within 2 years of the zoning approval. That's my motion.
A second.
All right. We have a second. Any discussion?
And I do have some additional conditions.
Yes.
So I think I need to state these in the form of a motion. to
Yes.
amend the motion. So
Yes.
I would move that we amend the motion on the table by adding the following conditions. One, that the exterior architecture be that of the gabled roof design presented tonight at the hearing and reflected in the elevations that are in the staff analysis. And that the following outdoor amenities be provided: a picnic shelter, a community garden, a sun deck with grill, walking trails, and a covered porch.
Can you state the amenities again? You said picnic shelter, garden, what else?
Community garden, sun deck with grill, walking trail, covered porch.
I'll second the amended motion.
Okay, so we have, well, let me pause right here. Did you get all the motions and seconds? All right, so the first motion was made by Commissioner Valenzuela with additional stipulations. And who was the second? Commissioner Jeter.
I have the one where.
Turn your mic on.
There we go. I thought I pressed it. Okay, so I have the one by Commissioner Valenzano that says to amend it to within 2 years.
Correct.
For
the tax credits.
Yeah, for the tax credits,
Yes.
correct. Commissioner Meyer.
Wait, that was seconded by Commissioner Jeter,
Seconded by Commissioner Jeter.
right?
I didn't see that. Okay. And then for Commissioner Meyer, I do have where you state that you would like to amend Commissioner Valenzano's motion to have an outdoor, to include the gable roofing, the outdoor activities, which includes picnic, walking trails. I believe you said sunroom or no?
Sun deck with grill,
Sun deck with grill, that's what, okay. Community garden, covered porch?
yes.
Okay, I have it.
And the second was by, do you have the second on that?
Oh, no, I don't have it.
Commissioner Valenzano.
Okay, second by Commissioner Valenzano.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. Now, do we have any further discussion on the amended motion, the amended motion?
The amendment to the motion.
Amendment to the amended motion? No discussion? Okay.
So we got to vote on that.
All right, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. So congratulations, Planning Commission. Well, this is the entire, this is the amended, all of it. Because we took Commissioner Valenzano's motion, Commissioner Jeter second, and then you amended that one. And so now we're taking all of the amendments into consideration and we voted on that. Council, is that correct? Want to make sure that we're in order here.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. It's on there. Yeah, for now, yeah.
Well, I mean, we want to make sure it's right. So Commissioner Valenzano made the motion with the one additional stipulation. Commissioner Jeter second. Open for discussion. Commissioner Meyer amended that motion with gable roof and all the amenities. Commissioner Valenzano seconded her amended motion, and we just took the vote on.
The amendment.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're taking a vote on the underlying?
I think what he's saying is we have to have two votes. We voted to accept her amendments to my motion. Now
Okay.
we have to vote on the motion.
Okay. So now that we have that clear, now we'll take the vote on the underlying motion. So again, any discussion? No? Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, the ayes have it. So everything has been accepted and recorded. So again, congratulations. We appreciate your time, appreciate the presentation. Thank you all to all the community members that made it out this evening. I'm sure Mr. Wheeler and Mr. Sunday, they will let you know when you will appear on the City Council's calendar, but we appreciate it. And with that, do we have any other questions, discussion? If not, I'd like to take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Valenzuela to adjourn. Can we get a second?
Mr.
Second.
Jeter?
Have a second from Mr. Jeter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposition? Meeting adjourned.